Sacred Heart High School, 5th Standard, English. Introduction. Dear students, in this slide we see a few insects. Though these insects are harmless, often we still live in a fear as they look scary. But what if these insects happen to tickle our funny bone and makes us laugh? These pictures are quite fascinating, isn't it? So using such a dynamic creativity, today we are going to learn a humorous poem written by C.J. Dennis in Unit 2, Poem 9, Triantiwontigongolope. The main character in this poem is a very funny insect with a very funny name. In this poem, the poet describes the insect's physical appearance, eating habits, and other activities. Before we begin with this poem, let's get the pronunciation of the title. That is Triantiwontigongolope. So the word is Triantiwontigongolope. Now it's time to read the poem and understand it as per the stanza. There is a very funny insect that you do not often spy. And it isn't quite a spider and it isn't quite a fly. It is something like a beetle and a little like a bee. Spy means to see, but nothing like a woolly grub that climbs upon a tree. Grub means a fat worm. Its name is quite a hard one, but you shall learn it soon, I hope. So try Triantiwontigongolope. In the first stanza, the poet is in a very imaginative mood. He talks about an imaginary insect which he calls the Triantiwontigongolope. He says that this is a very funny insect that you do not often see. It is neither like a spider nor like a fly, but it's something like a beetle and a little like a bee. It is not like the woolly little fat worm that climbs upon a tree. And the poet says its name, the Triantiwontigongolope, is quite hard to pronounce. But he is very positive that the reader will learn it soon. The next stanza. It lives on weeds and a wattle gum and has a funny face. Wattle gum means gum obtained from a tree in the form of reddish tears or lumps. Its appetite is hearty and its manners a disgrace. Appetite means desire for food, hearty means large, and disgrace means loss of respect. When first you come upon it, it will give you quite a scare. But when you look for it again, you find it isn't there. And unless you call it softly, it will stay away and mope. Mope means spending your time doing nothing and feeling very sorry for yourself. So try Triantiwontigongolope. In this stanza, the poet says this insect lives on weeds and the gum of certain trees. It has a funny face, its appetite is large, and its manners are quite disgraceful. It gives one quite a scare when one first comes across it, but when you look for it again, it disappears. And you must call it softly or it will stay away, feeling very sorry for itself. The poet once again asks us to pronounce the insect's name. The next stanza. It trembles if you tickle it or tread upon its toes. Tremble means to shake due to excitement. Tickle means light touch by someone which evokes laughter. And trend means walking in a specific manner. It is not an early riser, but it has a snubbish nose. Snubbish for a nose means short, fat, and turned up at the end. If you snore at it or scold it, it will scuttle off in shame. Snore means giving an unpleasant look, and scuttle means to run with a quick short steps. But it purrs and purrs quite proudly if you call it by its name. Purrs is a sound that the cat makes. And offer it some sandwiches of sealing wax and soap. So try Triantiwontigongolope. In this stanza, the poet tells us something more about this insect. It trembles if you tickle it or step upon its toes. It is not an early riser. It has a fat nose, turned up at the end. If you give it an unpleasant look or scold it, it will run away in shame with quick short steps. But it purrs quite proudly if you call it by its name and offer it some sandwiches of a sealing wax and soap. So try, says the poet once again, to pronounce its name. And the last stanza. But of course, you haven't seen it, and I truthfully confess. Confess means to admit that I haven't seen it either, and I don't know its address. For there isn't such an insect, though there really might have been if the trees and grass were purple and the sky was bottle green. It's just a little joke of mine, which you shall forgive, I hope. Oh, try Triantiwontigongolope. At the end of the poem, the poet surprises us by concluding that the insect is an imaginary and does not exist. Nor does he know where it lives. He says that there isn't such an insect, but there might have been one, provided that the trees and the grass were purple and the sky was bottle green. He says that it was just a joke, and he asks the reader to forgive him for his prank. But at the end, he once again asks the reader to pronounce the name Triantiwontigongolope. Thank you.